Now, if you remember from my last video, the back of the roof there, all I've done sadly since then is put in one panel. But I have to say, cutting into that corner was an absolute nightmare, but I've got it done eventually. Behind the back of that panel will go 50mm insulation board, and the plywood board itself is 5.5mm. I was told maybe that's a bit too flimsy, but I thought, well, I'll give it a go, and he was right, it is too flimsy. You can see it bending a bit, and I don't like it, but I will finish off that section in 5.5 and the rest will be done in 9mm, which is what I have here, just there, and that's what I use for my worktop for the model railway. So hopefully come the next video on here, you'll see a lot more done. Cheers. Hi and welcome to Bognor Regis, Chris's Engage. First of all, apologies to all my subscribers for not updating my videos earlier, but times we're living in at the moment, funny times, things have been put on a back burner. Now I haven't actually not been putting videos online because of COVID, nothing to do with COVID, well, not really. Couple of little health issues. I've got chronic backache, which I think is age catching up on me, which I've got to go and see a physio for. But the other thing was I was rather concerned about my lack of sleep, being lethargic, was possibly down to something more serious. And at one stage we thought I may have been diabetic, but I am pre-diabetic, so not diabetic. So now I've got to go and lose weight, do a little bit more exercise, and go on a diet. But hey ho. The doctor did say to me that lethargy is actually sweeping the country at this moment because of the pandemic. Our lifestyles have changed, we're not meeting people, we're stuck indoors all the time, and therefore our sleep pattern is just going weird. We and the missus, we're going to bed late at night, getting up late, and it's just not conducive to getting things done. And on top of that, I'm now at the end of my 3rd week on furlough again. Now, I had a call today to say that I'm going back to work on the 1st of March, back into another job. I'm going back to being a delivery driver. I've got another route to cover now because the person that was driving that route has now put their ticket in, and it will mean doing excessively long miles up to London, Slough, back down to Sussex. So we'll have to see how that affects me, but it'll be nice to get back into a routine again. Now, what else was there? I have been getting on up in the loft, and I was cracking on lovely last week, but I had a slight accident. The boards, the plywood boards, as you know, are 9mm, and they come in 8 foot by 4 feet. Now that's far too big, I can't get it through the loft hatch, so I've been cutting them down the centre, so I've got 8 foot by 2 foot boards, which has been no problems. I've been doing it by saw, but of course doing it by saw, they don't butt up against each other as I would like them to. So I got my circular saw out. Now it's virtually brand new in its box, and I haven't used it for over 11 years. So I got it up on the table, and I got it all set up. And while I was setting it up, I put my finger a bit too close to the blade, and I caught the button and nearly took my thumb off. I will show you a picture in a moment, but if you're a bit squeamish, look away. But I'll put it on in a second. Right, hopefully that wasn't too bad, but as you can see, it's quite a nasty cut. Just couldn't stop it bleeding, and I just couldn't do any work as a result of it. And I didn't really get the bleeding under control for about 3 days because you're always using your thumb. It's a bit sore, a bit painful, but it's healing nicely, and I'll have a scar there, but at least I've been able to crack on. And I have done quite a bit up there, which I'll show you in a minute. Now, the other thing I want to address is my mate John from Exhaven Harbour. He, on his last video, he was saying that he had difficulty in keeping, he built a yard office in his Engage. He built a yard office and he had a problem keeping it square when he was putting it together. Now, I have bought a number of items because I had the same issue when I built my buildings, and they're from Smart Models. Now, the first one I've got is a magnetic right angle clamp, and there's two of them small, and there's a picture of it there. I don't know if that's coming to focus or not, but they were £8.99, and I also bought two T magnetic clamps as well. Now, this is the ordinary right angle one, and as you can see, it's really powerful, as you can see there. So that's the right angle one, and the T is the same thing. It's two right angles underneath there like that. So all you do, and I've done it on the box here for the right angle one here, as you can see, there it is there, and that's smack on right angle. So going inside the building as it is like that, that should be great. And I've got two of them. I don't think I need any more, but if I do, I'll get them from Smart Models. Now the other one here is this one here. Now that was £8.99 as well, and that simply does the same sort of thing. You clamp it on the side like so. Like that. Now that's going to hold together quite nicely, as you can see. Have it straightened up, and then you put the other piece across it, and there you are. And that is now at a right angle. I don't know if you can see that properly. Of course, the piece of cardboard would be up there touching the back part. Now, just like that. And then, of course, the other cardboard goes right across and is clamped on the top. Well, I think they're two little nifty gadgets which will come in great use when I'm doing my station and also my engine, my goods shed. So without further ado, let's get up in the loft and I'll show you what I've done up there. Cheers. So here we are up in the loft, and as you can see, this is what I've done so far. Looks pretty pathetic really, doesn't it? But it's been hard work just getting that bit done. So what I'll do is I'll take you up closer and show you exactly what I mean about how difficult it's been to get it all cut and fitted, and there's a lot more to do, but yes, we'll go up close and you'll see what I'm on about. Now the first thing you notice is the triangular section at the end of the roof there has finally been boarded up. Now I've used 5.5mm plywood on there, which I'm not happy with. I was told it was possibly too flimsy, and it is. I'll show you closer what I mean, but that will do for that end, but for the sides I'm going to use the 9mm ply. Now going back to the layout itself, as you can see, the soffit board is in position and bent to the angle I need it. Now that soffit board is made of UPVC, which would be, or is, a great material, I'm told, for sticking my back scenes to. So the back scenes are 9 inches high, and I think I'll be sticking them along the top and leaving a gap at the bottom as opposed to the opposite way round. And the reason being is, if you go round to the right here, when it comes up to where the terminus is, that's another 4 inches above the baseboard here. So that should hopefully work out just right. Now if you look here on your left, these are the boards that I was on about. They are 8 feet long and now cut to 2 feet in width. Now when you look at the beams that come down there, they're in the way, so in order to fit them I've cut grooves, quite easy, very quick to do, and I've pushed the board back, and just by working out how much I need to cut back has worked out how much worktop it gives me for the railway lines. Now I can't have it going too far over to the right, because if you look here, just down there is the loft entrance, and I don't want to be coming up and banging my head on the baseboard. I think it's got to move over about another 1/4 of an inch, not much, but it will give me about 17 inches of track to play with. Now as you can see on the board there, with the track in place, it gives me 17 inches to play around with, more than enough. And if I show you over here, 9 inches from there will take the print to there. If I did it the other way, it would bring it to there. So that's about the distance of, or the height of the terminus. So if I ding it around the other way, this will still be above the terminus. So I think, I've got to have to do scenery that comes up to there, but that's a sloping bank or something like that, it'll be fine. And if I show you what I'm on about with regards to the 5.5mm plywood, as you can see, it is excessively flimsy, and but that'll do. I'll put some wood behind that and screw it in, but this has all got to come off because I've still got the insulation to put behind there, but that's not a hard job. But the rest of it along there will be 9mm plywood, and cutting into those angles is a nightmare. A bungalow is not square, or the roof structure isn't square. It's only slightly off, but it just makes cutting things in very difficult. It means I have to make a template, which I have to keep planing down until I get it right, and then once I've got the template done, then I can transfer it to the plywood. But it's trying to work it out, and now I've worked it out, it's not a problem. The next stage. Now here you can see the track work. There are basically 2 sets of lines. There's this one here, and then there's this one here. Now these are the 2 that form a figure of 8 that go round the outside of the loft. This one here will have a spur coming off here onto there. Forget about that. It's a spur comes onto there, and then it goes along there, and that will eventually rise up, and I've got near on 20 feet until it comes round to over there where it joins with the raised terminus station. Now originally the railway line was going to go underneath, but with what I want to do along here I can't do that, which is why I've now transferred it so it's going to go over the top, and there will be 2 tunnels here. The reason being is when this joins up with here and then goes along there, along this section I want to put in a express dairy yard that I had behind the back of my house, or my flat in London, and I'm going to do an exact replica. So starting from there up to where that fancy little bit of woodwork is, just there, the old triangle, that is going to be the length of my milk yard. But that will come later, and I reckon I can get another 2 lines in there and that'll be fine. So the other section that I'm messing around with is these cross beams. I didn't particularly want the layout to rest on them. Maybe it's being over safety, but I want them resting on these, on the L girder system, and on the legs which are down on the floorboards. So what I've done, this is a piece of 5mm plywood, or 5.5. I've laid it on there, and that is what I use as a guide. So with my cross beams, with the legs adjusted, the cross beam comes in line with that. So when I put another one there, the worktop will actually take these away. The worktop will actually be suspended above all of these, and that's how I'm doing it. Over here, this will be a 3-foot board, and a 3-foot board will come from here out to here. I've got to cut grooves, and then that section has got to slide back, and it's now taken me all this time to work out how I can do it. And now that I know, to do those 2 sections along there and there will be a walk in the park, he says. Not a problem. Worst part is cutting the wood and fitting it up on the ceiling here. I think I've covered everything, but since I've been up here and I've just done those little things, and a little bit of insulation up there, already it's 14.2 degrees centigrade up here. Quite comfortable. And it's been like that roughly over the winter period. So once all the insulation's up here, it should be quite cosy. Now the other thing I want to show, I notice a number of people have on about gradients and how they work it out, and they buy spirit levels for it, and that give you gradients. Well, that's my phone. It's a Sony Xperia. It's all right. It's not brilliant, but it's got a very poor camera on it, which is one of the reasons why I'm still using my Huawei. Now on my mobile, you'll see there an app called Laser Level. Now if I simply press it, it comes up with a number of pictures, and the center one is a spirit level. I hit that. Now I've got to calibrate it, which it's done. Now you can see, might get into focus. Doesn't want to play, does it? Right, if you can see that little bubble in the center there, you can see it moving, and that's how. So that's a spirit level, which is great, because that's what I've been using up here, along with ordinary spirit levels, to make sure everything's right. Now this is a gradient that I've just put on here. Now if I stick that on there, and you look, you've got a X and a Y. Now if you lift up, you'll see the Y changing, and that means that that is a 1 degree gradient, or 1% gradient. And if I lay it down on the top here, as you can see, it's gone to 0. Now, dinky little mobile means I can get it into all sorts of places, and I can get my gradient exactly how I want it. I just thought I'd share that little tip with you, because people tend to forget you've got lots on your phone that you can put on there. It is dead accurate. I've checked it with my spirit levels, but I haven't got anything for a gradient apart from measuring it before I did this, and yeah, that is spot on. So hope you enjoy that little tip. So with all of that, all it leaves me to say is to I hope you all keep safe under these present conditions, and I'll speak to you soon. But I'll finish off here showing you a diagram of the map, which if you want you can freeze and try and work out what I'm doing. But so all the best. I'll see you soon. Bye.